dear friend out there in TV land, wherever in the globe you are. I want to welcome you to the World Straight Pool Championship. Actually, it's the World 14-1 tournament. Sorry about that. And it's the 71st running, non-annual, but 71st running of the event. We're going to do a match with Takahashi versus Charlie Williams. Takahashi. I'm going to attempt to say his name. It's Kunihiko Takahashi. Tom Karamatsos is joining me. I'm Alvin with Inside Pool. I want to welcome you. And Old House and Pool Tables, Andy Cloth, Kamut Tips, Predator Cues, Aramith Balls, Pool and Billiard, Amsterdam Billiards, Inside Pool Magazine are the sponsors, and Sandcastle Billiards. Echo. Inside Pool Magazine and Dragon Promotions. You are on, Tom.
Thanks, Al. We got a couple high-powered players here. This could be a quick match. Charlie Williams and Kunihiko Takahashi. A real gentleman player. It's nice to see him at the tournament. I know he plays a lot of straight pool. Very knowledgeable player. Plays the rack. Very nice classic style of straight pool. In contrast, Charlie Williams is a shot maker type 9-ball style straight pool player. He will hit the balls hard, be a little bit more less the classic in style, but very effective.
In 2002, 2005, he was the 14-1 champion of Japan, and he is the reigning 14-1 Japan.
We're playing at the Hyatt Hotel. I'm sorry.
Mr. Kunihiko Takahashi.
We're getting through the introductions right now. The match is about to start shortly.
In 2009. He's the 2010 Super Billiards Expo 14-1 champion, and he's placed 5th in this event twice. His sponsors are Predator Cues and Dragon Promotions. He's also the promoter of this event. Let's put our hands together for the Korean Dragon, Mr. Charlie Williams. Good luck, gentlemen.
Good match.
You know, Charlie has finished 5th twice in this event, so he's starting to get the hang of straight pool pretty well. I want to thank Inside Pool and J.R. Calver for sponsoring this live stream. Inside Pool. We're about ready to get started here. Charlie Williams won the leg. He opted to have Mr. Takahashi break. A funny situation. You know, a lot of times you don't want to be the first guy shooting after the break, coming off the end rail with a tough shot if you're a little nervous. And other times you know that it might be your only shot at the table. So you want to win that leg, and you don't want to be breaking the balls. You want to have that first shot.
Hello, Tom. This is Carl Kantrowitz. I'm going to be refereeing some of these matches, and I'm looking here at these at this particular match, and we certainly have a contrast of styles. Takahashi plays the classic straight pool game, and as you pointed out, Charlie Williams is a much more open game with much more power with the cue ball and much more English with the cue ball than a traditional straight pool player, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Takahashi hit a nice break shot. I'm not sure he can see this 3-ball past the 13. If he shoots at it, he can see it. But this is what I'm talking about, coming off the end rail with a shot. Although there's plenty of reward here if you do make this ball, though. There are half a dozen open balls to select for your next shot.
And he rolled it, and it jawed up. And that's exactly what you were pointing out, Tom. That first shot after the break is so important. You're coming up cold, and it's generally a long shot. So let's see what Takahashi's going to do here.
In the bracket of 8 right now, Charlie Williams is undefeated. Takahashi has 1 loss. You know, some guy named Karabatsis beat him earlier in the preliminary.
That was certainly an upset.
Yeah, that was a great win for me. I gotta admit, I wasn't the favorite. But, you know, it should be an interesting match. Charlie, conversely, Charlie beat up on me last night. And we'll see how he plays in this early in the day match. I know he plays good at night.
Well, Charlie's a night person because I saw him going out to dinner last night at 3 a.m., so I don't know how much sleep he got. Takahashi's put himself on the rail there, but he's got some shots in the side pocket, so he can clear out.
Again, he just lightly went into the side of the rack and slid off it with open shots. Classic style once again.
Now, these Olhausen tables, you mentioned that the rails are nicely angled down for shots where you have to position your bridge on the rail.
Yeah, when the cue ball's on the rail, you want to be able to bite into the ball as much as possible. And if your hand's up in the air, it adds to the height of the shot, where you can shoot off your thumb, putting your hand toward the back end of the table, which is angled downward, and get a nice bite into the ball or hit the ball with a level stroke as opposed to jacking up a little bit on it. If you're on the rail and you do jack up on a ball a little bit, you will tend to massé if you hit off center. So it's very important to have as level of stroke as possible when you're shooting off the rail. Yeah, Carl, we're in for a treat today. These are good players, both playing well.
Takahashi is the reigning straight pull champ in Japan, so he has a lot of seasoning behind him.
He's very solid. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Mentally, he's on the correct side of the ball all the time and plays the patterns really nice. Really controls the cue ball. His position play is second to none. A little bit of his shot making. He doesn't like to be out of line because he's so good at staying in line. It doesn't come as easy where a guy like Charlie, you know, he just wants an open shot. But every tournament, Charlie's getting better, and he's finishing 5th, so he plays real good. Real good straight pull, and he's going to get better. It's too bad we don't have more straight pull tournaments during the year. We always had the U.S. Open in Chicago. That was the first pull tournament I went and saw, and I was inspired to play because of that reason. And it'd be nice to get a second tournament. Someone was telling me that Mark Griffin from the BCA was thinking of possibly resurrecting that tournament. Although I know Ron Blatt from Blatt Billiards in New York had the rights to that, and Barry DeBow was the promoter. You familiar with those guys at all?
Oh, yes. I refereed the last tournament that Ron Blatt ran in New York City. Yes. Very nice tournament.
Yeah, it was a real class act when Ron did run the tournament. I was hoping he'd keep it going. combo, but he put a ball on the rail. He's not happy about that. If that combo is dead, it might be a good idea to shoot the 7 and knock that ball off the rail right now. In Japan, they play a lot of 3-cushion billiards and straight different disciplines of the game with no pockets, and they know their billiard angles pretty well. A little bit of side English to get him into the balls. It looks like those 2 balls might be tied up, that 5 and the 8. He might be trying to break them.
That's what it appears to be off the bottom rail. Oh, he hung up the 7.
Oh,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
when you're hitting those English shots soft, it's so important to hit them absolutely perfect. You know, they tend to masse at the slower speed, and you hit a little fuller than you want. Seems like that's what happened on that shot. He hit the 7 ball a little fuller at a slow speed. It curved back into the 7, and then hit it quite as thin as he would have liked to.
These Olhausen pockets are not forgiving.
No, they're really not. The 4.5-inch pockets. Again, like all tournaments that you play on new cloth, at the beginning of the tournament, the cloth will slide and balls go in that are shot down the rail. But as the tournament wears on, the cloth wears out. There's so many hours of play during the tournament that you get a lot less slide, and the pockets therefore tighten up for the later rounds in the tournament.
Charlie looks like he's going to play a combination here. 5 into the 7. And
You had to go up table and hit that 8. It would have been nice to, again, get on these balls on the rail.
so now he's going to get rid of the...
I would shoot the 8 and get on one of the balls right here. I believe that's the 11 coming back and toward the rack area. If you don't get perfect on the 11, you can use the 2 to get back on it.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's drawing the cue ball and sliding it over for the 11. And you correctly pointed out that if he was out of line on the 11, he had the 2 ball as a safety valve.
And now you can leave that 5 ball, and it's your best bet as a break shot also. Common mistake is a lot of times shooting in the most obvious, easy shot. And, straight pull, a lot of times you have to look a little bit past that.
He's got to get a nice angle on the 12 here because he wants to get a shot where he could be thin on the 5.
Well, the wrong side of the 2 ball, he had to go to the rail and got him a little too straight on the 12 ball.
Yep. It's not where he wanted to be.
Here, a couple of things that you can do. You can follow 2 rails with right-hand English and come up to the side rail. He wants to end up on the side of the table that the 5 is laying on. Another thing you could possibly do is just follow down to the short rail and go 1 rail into the stack. You would prefer to go into the bottom of the rack because there's less chance of scratching. If you go into the side of the rack from the lower end of the table, you can scratch in the corner. He's going to draw out, it looks like, and come to the other side. Oh, he stayed there.
I don't know why he did that, but we'll find out shortly.
With this angle at this speed, it's very hard to go into the rack with any kind of force. The reason being, you have to hit the top of the cue ball here, and it will have a follow effect. And if you hit that ball too full, it will tend to hug the rack and slow the cue ball down. If I was shooting this shot, I would go rail first, try to thin the 5 and go into the rack, or jack up and draw so you can bounce off that short rail and get into the stack.
Well, Charlie could really stroke the ball, so
I think we're going to see the jacked up draw shot. I agree.
yeah, he's a 9-ball player.
And he's going to remember this shot either way.
He's looking at that rail first shot that you just pointed out.
It's tough to go rail first and hit the ball thin, though, because you don't want to miss the ball. So this is interesting. Yeah, I would go with the draw shot because you're guaranteed to make the ball. You could always play safety, but you definitely don't want to leave the ball for your opponent.
There's also a chance of the cue ball just jumping up and losing its power and not hitting the rack at all.
Very important to hit this ball exactly where you want to. Probably about half a ball or less.
Yep, that's what happened. He hit it too full and nothing happened.
Yep. Again, at the end of the rack, you have to play those positions. Charlie likes to just play safe, hitting the side of the rack and leaving you up table. I don't agree with this philosophy at all. A lot of times you can get back over on that ball on the side rail. He did leave him straight. It would be hard to get over there. But he could have left an angle so he can get to the other side of the rack and break out the stack. Another thing, you can always, when you're doing that, leave a dead ball in the stack. I would have kicked the rack from behind and gotten into a little bit of a safety battle.
Yeah, but you have to remember that Charlie Williams, although he's a great player, is not a classic straight pool player, and he's more of a freewheeler. So we have a little contrast of styles here.
And a lot of times that can throw off a classic straight pool player, where he's getting situations he's unaccustomed to shooting from 2 rails into the balls. Just that little bit of knocking that one ball out might be enough to run this rack. You can shoot the ball straight in the corner, get on a side pocket break shot.
And he's on the right side of the table for the break shot on the side.
Yes, he is. You want that break shot to be on the half of the table that you're shooting with the cue ball. You want them both to be on the side of the rack, rather than one be one way or one the other. Came up a little short.
Yeah.
Now he's going to check for dead balls.
He reads the pack very, very well.
Yeah, and straight pull, a lot of times, if you're in dead stroke and something like this happens, you just shoot the ball in the corner and draw into the rack. It's going to be interesting to see how he's playing this.
He tried to power it with a force follow, but
He didn't hit the rack going in. He wanted to get just a little touch of that rack, and it would have been okay. Might have ended up with a combination here that he can roll in and play position on the first ball of the combo.
he's going to shoot. You think he's going to use the bridge or shoot left-handed? You know him better.
He'll definitely shoot lefty.
Left-handed.
When you're up close to the ball, you have good control. A lot of times when you have to cut the ball a little bit, like it is here, all you have to do is spin it to create the angle. So you throw the ball to create the angle of the first one. He's looking at it. You got to be very precise, but I like hitting it full and throwing the ball to get the cut. That's what he did. Hung it up again. He drew back for position, which helps him here because he left the combo for Charlie now.
All of these problems stem from the fact that he didn't bring the cue ball back far enough for the break shot. Just those 2 inches.
Yeah, he got too straight on the ball and was unable to get into the rack. It's critical to be able to roll the ball forward just the right amount. He's shooting a combo here. He'll play position for the ball at the side of the table, but you'd like to leave that ball right about where the 8-ball is so you can break with it somehow. He did that. He could break now or get a little closer with that ball on the side rail. I'd probably take that ball off the side rail because you're coming into the back of the rack and you might tie a ball up with that ball and create problems that you don't need. Wow.
Very well.
Yeah, he got a lot of momentum going back into the rack there. It was forced follow stroke that really worked nicely. And Charlie's crashing that rack and getting shots. He's real tough to beat. Last year I played him and he knocked me out of the World Championship. He ran, I believe, about 110 balls. And he was crashing the rack like that. It was 150-point matches at that time. And, Charlie ran over 100 balls very effectively. He doesn't miss. So if he doesn't run out of shots, you keep shooting balls in the hole, eventually you run out of balls and win.
He's definitely an offensive player.
See, here you would like to get straight in on that 11 ball so you could have stopped and gotten on the break ball, the 14. He's a little straight on it. You probably stop, break off the 1 ball. I think is a good ball to break unless something goes in the side pocket. Here, if the ball goes in the side, you might want to shoot it. From our vantage point, again, it's hard to tell the exact angle. He decided to go into him there. He might have gotten hooked. Come back and shoot the break shot off. Again, I would have been better off staying away from those balls at that time. Whenever you got to power a ball and go into the stack at a barely no angle, you're not going to get a lot of momentum into it, so you better have a safety valve. I think he's spinning his 5 in. Yeah, he was able to see that. Which ball do you shoot here, the 15 or the 2?
I think he's going to play the 2 ball.
If you shoot the 2, you're going to bump the 9 ball, and then you have to be careful which side of the ball you hit. If you shoot the 15, you can draw it to the side rail and probably get back on the 2 ball. I think it would be better off doing that than going into the 9 ball. Something bad could happen. Again, if you don't have to run into any balls, you shouldn't.
Calling the referee over to mark the cue ball for some reason. There may be some debris on the cue ball, so they're going to mark the cue ball using a special tool, and he's asking that the cue ball be clean. So there must have been something on the cue ball that Charlie saw.
Yeah, he saw some dust or something. Now, what's nice about that tool that you're talking about, it sort of surrounds the cue ball.
Yeah, there's a finger hole in the device, which will help the referee. He'll pull it out. See, he pulled it out with his finger.
Yeah.
So that's a precise way of marking it.
He's also one of the co-sponsors of this event, Mr. Charlie Eames.
That's one of the things that changed throughout the years. We weren't able to do that back in the 70s.
Yeah. Now Charlie looks like he's playing the 2. He's going to bump the 9. Oh, he passed the 9 and went straight to the rail. See, from our vantage point, it's hard to see that he could have done that.
Yeah, we couldn't tell exactly how straight he was. Here you follow up and get on these 2 balls in the side pocket. It looks like they're. He wants to go in the corner pocket here, so he's okay. Now's a good time to slow down, get exactly where you want to get on the next ball. It looks like he's shooting this ball that we thought might be his break shot. Just thinking about it. Pretty good. You want to get almost straight on that ball so you can draw the rail. Looks like he's going to leave the 9. The 9 must be out of the rack.
Yes. There's that power follow again. Beautifully done. And he came up pretty well for the break.
Yeah, Charlie can definitely execute. That's, again, a non-traditional shot where you're moving the cue ball that far to get on the break shot. But he was able to do it very precisely.
One of the things that I'd like to point out to the viewers here is that Charlie is an experienced tournament player, and he was aware of the fact that he could call over the referee to clean the cue ball. In fact, in tournament play, you could call the referee over to clean a table or any ball that has debris on it. And that's a good thing to know, because sometimes players try to deal with it and they don't have to.
Point well taken, Carl. There's a few times I'm sure it could have helped me out, or anybody that's played in any of these major tournaments. Charlie, the one thing I'm going to say is he's going to hit this break shot hard.
He's power stroking.
You can tell by the fast warm-ups that he was going to hit that ball hard. Just checking to see if the ball goes. This way he doesn't have to run into it. He might be able to shoot one of these balls on the side. But he's going to shoot the ball below the rack. Is he going to stay there on the 12? Is he going to roll back up one rail and play position for one of those 2 balls, or is he going to go into them? He decided to break him a little bit. Once again, execution is very important in the game, and Charlie can execute shots like bumping in the side of the ball with a little bit of draw and coming out with the shot and not getting straight in on these balls so he can get off the rail a little bit. Now, this is a little tricky shot. A lot of times we run into this ball next to the 6 ball. You might want to go 3 rails and go up the table, but you really got to start thinking about how you're going to break open the stack. Any kind of angle on that ball on the side rail, you can go into the rack with no protection, though.
He just tickled the 14.
Yeah, he's going to go for 14. I'm thinking he'll play for a ball in the side pocket after he gets on the ball on the rail. He's playing for the ball on the side rail. Then he'll start shooting into the side pocket and try to get an angle, break it. There might be a dead combo. You can't overlook looking at the rack. You should be looking to see which one of these balls go, because it looks like a couple of balls are are on. They're not dead. But a dead ball is a ball that you shoot at that you can't possibly miss because they're frozen together a certain way, and anywhere you hit a ball, it's got to go. A ball that's on, conversely, sometimes you have to manipulate it a little bit in order to make the object ball go into the pocket. Charlie's going to roll this ball on the side, or is he,
Stop it. Oh, you bumped the two. Okay.
there must be a combo at the top of this rack for him to play it like that.
It's like an 8-ball combination. He's got the 13 ball in front of the 8. It's not dead.
No, the balls are not frozen together, and you might have to cut it a little bit.
He's going to...
And you're shooting jacked up. This is where you want to stroke the ball nice and clean the way he did. You don't want to let up on those little combo shots when you're jacked up. You start letting up on shots, you tend to overcut them and spin them. Again, Charlie's starting to look over the rack and decide what kind of angle he needs to get to break the rack. Got a little straight on this ball. He's not happy. Might have to shoot to 5. Just go into one rack. It's hard to see if these balls go in the corner pocket if you can just stick the cue ball and have a shot. The 7 might be able to be spun in. Looks like he's looking at that 9 ball also. Okay, he didn't have enough angle to move him a little bit. But all this work, and he's still got 2 balls that are tied up. Yeah. Again, when 2 balls are tied up, a ball has to go somewhere. I mean, you can shoot this ball up in the corner if he stays below him. A lot of times you don't have to break these balls up. Late in the rack, a lot of times you don't want to.
Well, again, Charlie is not a classic straight pool player, so he's going to go into the rack and touch balls more often than the classic player. There he is again going in there, which was, as you pointed out, not necessary because...
Yeah, it's tough to control the shots there.
Yeah, so he doesn't know where he's going.
And I'm thinking he was about to shoot the break ball. It might be in the rack. I guess it is in the rack. But he executes so well that he was able to go into them and have his safety valve intact, the 5 in the side. He's going to break off the 5 ball, but again, you're close to the ball and you want the ball to go forward. It's a little tricky stroke here, which he hit very nicely.
Yep. A lot of work. Getting the angle on the 5 for the break shot.
Again, I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I'm right near Rockford where we have Dallas West. He's a classic straight pool player from the old school. And he told me that you can run balls, you can run 100 balls with, force a run of 100 balls just with your shot making and, execution from shot to shot. The way Charlie plays, a lot of times, when the room gets humid and the rails get jumpy on you, you're forced to scramble for your run out. And, you can't force a 100-ball run like that. Dallas told me he's run 300 balls where he's shot a lot of flyers, and he's also run 300 balls where he just stays perfectly in line and is not moving the cue ball hardly at all, and maybe shot the same break shot 25 times or something like that.
That's the real classic way of shooting straight pool. And Dallas West is a master. I refereed a match. I think it was 1991 World's Championship between Dallas West and Mike Zuglin. And Dallas West broke the balls, and they did a couple of back scratches, and Mike had, I think it was -2. And Zuglin got an opening and ran 148 and out. They played a few little scratches before, and I never really got to see Dallas shoot in that match because he was always on the defense. The match before that, Mike Siegel played Zuglin and ran 150. But, you know, that's the old school of straight pool. This is the classic way.
Yeah, Mike Zuglin took that beating out on Dallas that time. One of the things when you're a good player and you get beat on like that and you don't get an opportunity, you take it out on the next guy you play. I heard that story happen that a lot of people don't know. When Balsas played Crane in Chicago, he ran 150 and out in the first U.S. Open in 1966. U.S. Open Straight Pool Championships, and there was a tournament a month or two later, and Balsas ran 150 and out on Crane. So someone made the comment, it's important to win the lag when you're playing these two guys.
Here's Charlie stretching on the table. He's got a really tough shot. We're playing here with fouls on all balls, so that means if any part of your body or your clothing touches any ball, it is considered a foul. It's not just the cue ball, it's all the object balls as well. So the players are wearing vests, which really contains their shirts, but you have to watch your sleeves. You see Charlie has, his sleeves are a little puffy. And he has to watch that when he reaches over a ball that one of his sleeves doesn't touch an object ball.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how well the players play and police themselves on this one. Obviously, it was very difficult to get a referee for every table that is as knowledgeable or more knowledgeable than the players themselves. It would be an extreme cost to get people of your caliber here to referee every match. A lot of matches, very tiresome in this round-robin format. The players do an excellent job of, being honest. I've had a lot of players call fouls on themselves when I didn't see anything. They touch the ball and say, I fouled them. I go, oh, okay. And very rare that there's a player that won't call the foul playing straight pool.
Well, I think that the game of straight pool shares some of that tradition with golf, where you are pretty much policing yourself with regard to misstrokes and touching the...
Excellent point. I've seen guys lose golf tournaments because they forgot their strokes and they were honest about it and went back and asked about, did I foul there? I don't remember for sure, and forfeited a tournament.
Ball. Jacked up over it. Stopped it.
Those are difficult strokes. He made it look easy. See if he shoots one of these balls in the side pocket, or...
Well, he's got to get rid of that 14 ball or the 2 ball somehow. They're locked up there on the side.
So if they go in the corner, then he can get an angle to go into and follow up on that ball on the side rail. He's looking at the side pocket to maybe go into him right now.
See how his angle is on the 7 ball. I mean, he's thinking about following with just rolling the 7 into the side pocket and trying to get position on the 14 ball in the corner, but he's stroking it hard.
He doesn't like to roll it. He'll go to the rail and come back out.
He's 11. Oh, now he's got the angle on the 7. Where's it, the 14?
Yeah, I'm not sure which one he was playing for here either. I don't know if he's got enough angle to slide across. If you do, you want to split the two balls. He hit the one ball and didn't come out very well.
This is where the classic straight pool player would probably not have gone into that ball so hard. And now he's
Yeah, they would have. You want to split those two balls on the rail this way. You get a shot at either one in each corner. By hitting the one ball like that, and he got a double kiss, he's fortunate that if he does have a shot here, he's very fortunate.
looks like he's locked up. Got to come up with something.
Again, Charlie banks pretty well. He might shoot a bank here. Cross corner, right on cue. And he just called the ball cross corner. Again, the position is automatic. You just have to stop it. We'll see how he makes the angle. Looks like it's straight. He might be spinning it a little bit to create the little angle.
Wasn't even close. See, this
The speed was off,
yeah.
and it opened up on him. He hit that way too soft with English. I was playing Nick Varner in the U.S. Open Straight Pool Championship one year, and we're in the winner's bracket. We're down to 8 players on the winner's side, so I had 9th through 12th locked up, and I'm playing Nick, and I shot a great shot off a safety that he played. I shot a ball, I went into the rack, and Nick later on, he was a little worried. He had no shot. He had a straight back with 2 rail position, linked to the table, and he just decided to shoot. He fired it in. It was like 100 to 100 the score, where he probably loses the game, and he just stopped it. He didn't want to leave me another shot because he remembered I made that shot off that rail. So he said that his best chance to win was to shoot. I've seen Mike Siegel do that and win tournaments where he just knew that, the percentages, you got to throw them out the window, and you play safety in this situation, you're probably going to lose the game. And he would fire that straight back or do that unconventional position shot and win tournaments. Knowledgeable tournament players know how to steal matches and take away the momentum from players, and it's really just has to do with seasoning.
Now Takahashi's got a delicate break shot here on the side rail.
He's going to hit this with a little right-hand English and force follow to dive back into the rack. I think he's going to hit it with a little speed here. You don't want to stick to the rack. It did.
That's exactly what happened. But he has some shots in the side pocket. Looks like the 11 ball and possibly the 12 ball.
Yeah, I'm able to follow Takahashi's game a little bit better. He's classical in style. It reminds me of Dallas West when, he's hitting the shots and how he plays the shots. He's been playing straight pool an awful long time. I remember seeing him in tournaments 15, 20 years ago. And if you're going to come all the way from Japan to play pool on another continent, you probably play pretty good.
Looks like he's got the 6th ball maybe. That doesn't like that shot.
The reason he's looking at it again, he's taught. He's disciplined enough not to shoot a jacked up ball if he doesn't have to. You tend to worry about fouling balls, with this all foul format. So when you're in stroke, you can go ahead and shoot another shot. You don't have to even take a chance of fouling the ball.
He's got quite a distance between his cue stick and the 6th ball. He doesn't want to take any chance of fouling. But as a result, he actually massayed the ball and missed it. And this is one of the things, Tom, that tournament play brings out. Those subtleties in the game. You'd say to yourself, well, how can he miss a shot like that? That wasn't that hard a shot. But the fans have to remember that there's a foul on every ball, so the players are so cautious when it comes to shooting over a ball that they elevate their cue stick. and that causes, in that case, the cost of this.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier when you're playing cue ball fouls only. You can dig into that ball and go ahead and stroke it, because when you foul through, you don't have to worry about touching the ball that you're jacked up over. It's a lot different when you have to be cautious about that.
And Charlie just smashes into the pack, and he's going to have to come up with something.
I'm actually running, I'm promoting pool in Chicago. We're doing the World Series of Pool. It's wsopool.com. And my rules, what I found to stop arguments was, because players move too many balls, and during your final stroke, if you actually contact the cue ball, if you move any other ball, it's a foul. So we're not playing all fouls. If you move the ball, your opponent's allowed to move it back or leave it there. But once you stroke the ball, if you're moving balls, that's no good. And if you happen to not stroke the ball and you move more than one ball, that's considered a foul. So I'm trying to make it where it's a no-brainer, where there's no arguments about it. Because I used to be like, if you're jacked up completely over a ball and you move it, it's a foul during your stroke. But that led to arguments that I found you just have to make it cut and dry. And rules are like that. You don't want to leave anything up to interpretation if you don't have to. The more concrete they are, the less arguments you'll have with players. The one snooker tournament that I was at didn't seem like that was an issue at all, because in snooker, when you're up against the ball, you shoot away from it. You're not allowed to shoot at the ball. You can only glance off it if you decide to, so you can't push through it. Where the rules are still in pool aren't quite standard everywhere in terms of what a push shot is. Do you hesitate the ball? How far through the ball it travels? If it goes through half a ball length, it's considered a foul.
Yeah. I remember I was refereeing the finals in the women's straight pool World Championship. I believe it was in 1991. And Lori John Jones at that time, her name was Lori John Jones, was in the finals. And I called a foul on her because she did exactly what you just said. She pushed the cue ball into the object ball, and the cue ball traveled a distance greater than the object ball. And in that case, a foul had to be called, and she was surprised. But the rules at that time, at that tournament, were concrete, that if you shot directly into a frozen ball, the cue ball could not travel more than one ball length.
And that's a good rule. They don't let you push the ball in three-cushion billiards, snooker, other cue sports. And that's one rule I would like to see legitimized and standardized in the pool world. The funny thing about it is a slow motion camera, you can see the push every time. My buddy Jeff Moll from Chicago, he's qualified for the World Championships the last 3 years, and he's a good player out of Chicago. He's not playing as well as he can in these big tournaments yet, because he never gets to play this competition. And Jeff had his high-speed slow-motion camera with him, and he had me shoot a shot where I'm jacked up and I'm shooting at the ball. And we asked the referees what they thought. Was it a push or not a push? They all said not a push. When you showed it in slow motion, it was hilarious, because when I followed through, the cue ball went airborne, and I was actually touching the ball like 3 times with my tip on the way up. But to the naked eye and, in full speed, it looked like a good shot.
Yeah. I
hesitated the cue ball. I did everything that you're asked to do. Sure. But it was 3 times the push shot.
Yeah. It looks like Charlie's got a
Charlie looked like
nice angle on that 5.
Yeah, that time he ran to the rack nice and fell onto the last ball where he just has to roll it in the side pocket. And this is what you'd like to do for your last ball every time you get on this break shot. You can follow through the exact distance that you want to. And if you get exactly where you want to be on the break shot, you can hit it with more authority and get the rack open.
Well, that Takahashi miss as a result of jacking up his cue stick in the side pocket, that ball that he missed has now cost him a rack and possibly more. Nice break shot.
Yeah, Charlie is where you want to be. You want to get through that rack and get where you want to get on that break shot. Once a good player gets on that first break shot and opens up the rack nice, it might be a long day.
Yeah, Charlie could develop a rhythm, but he could certainly run out.
I like a forced foul here. Just go ahead and go after him. Yeah, might have to shoot a combo. He doesn't have an easy shot in the side pocket. Doesn't have a ball in the corner. The ball near the side is blocking the shot in the corner. I think he can spin this ball in without shooting the combo, though. A little right-hand English, aim a little fuller, slight massé. But he's not shooting it immediately, so it's not automatic. Again, when you're this close, you're not jacked up, you should be able to do a small curve. It's close enough to the pocket. It's not too bad. He's lining up the combo, though, it looks like. If that ball is near the rail, you want to hit the 5 into the rail first. Usually it's a bigger ball coming off the rail than shooting directly at it. Yep.
Very badly.
Yep, he didn't shoot it into the rail there. Those shots are so tricky, you know.
The angle is very deceiving because you're shooting at one angle into the second ball. The first ball and the second ball is at a different angle. It's a very difficult shot.
If you play a lot of straight pool, you learn exactly how tough those shots are, and you really bear down on them. And a little more careful about shooting combos because you shot a lot of them when you play a lot of straight pool. A guy like Ray Martin, on those combos like that, when they're close together, rarely you see them miss them.
I was surprised that Charlie didn't really blast that break shot. He hit it a little tentatively, and as a result, he didn't have an open shot.
He didn't like his angle. He thought he was a little bit too straight. I liked his angle. He wanted to roll it up a little further and sort of, you know, just like Takahashi when he was playing for that break shot in the side, he came up short a little bit. But I liked Charlie's angle. You know, sometimes a straighter shot is okay. You have to go after him, though. The straighter you are, the more you have to go after him. Takahashi needs to get by that first rack. You know, these good players, that's what you hope, that they don't get by that first rack is your best chance to get back to the table.
Looks like he's stretching. You picked up his body language that he's a little tight. Yeah, he's stretching and doing his little exercise there.
Yeah, Takahashi is an excellent player. He's getting a little older, and we got to stretch a little more when we get older.
Again, he's jacked up a little bit. A little finesse shot there on the 9 ball.
Dallas West used to tell me he used to hate playing guys that he didn't know how they played, that weren't classic straight pool players, because he didn't know what they were going to do. You know, he knew what Miserak was going to do and Siegel and guys like that. Knowing what to expect when they missed, they left you a certain shot. You know, Other guys, you know, they're making balls that you don't expect them to make. They're missing balls that you expect them to make, and a lot of times it's a little frustrating. As much as people say you're playing the table in straight pool, definitely not the case. Your opponent is direct relation. He's playing safe on you. You have to know his tendencies. You know, if you can figure out a weakness and a long shot, you're definitely playing your opponent a lot more than people think. Every time you have a marginal shot, you're thinking of your opponent. And when you're shooting, you got to be able to forget about it and shoot pool.
Gonna pluck off the 3 ball and just come back a little bit, right to the center of the table.
Yeah, he has the break shot on the side rail. Again, he's got that ball that you got to fall straight on the rail. Takahashi is going to try to get an angle and knock that ball off the rail. He'll follow this up a little bit and use that dark ball to knock it off. He might have got a little too straight on this. It's hard to see. See how he's looking. His ball-to-ball billiards are very good. He'll knock that ball off the rail if he's got his angle. Nope, and he got too straight to knock it off here. Yeah, I would have thought he would have. You know, again, this first rack, you might play a little tentative. You know, I think later on in a run, he definitely would have had an angle and knocked that ball off the rail. Might try to get it again here.
He's gonna play it up the quarter pocket. Can't tell for the angle, but it looks like he's going to play it.
Yeah, he has to shoot us. He'll just level on this, probably roll it in. And looks like he's drawing the ball for the stopping it for the side pocket. But it's going to be a light touch. He knows it's a big pocket if you hit it.
Yeah.
Oh, he came back for the ball in the corner. And that's a nice stroke. He's starting to get a little confidence here. If he falls on this break shot, it's going to be interesting to see how he gets into the next rack. If he keeps it going, he'll open the rack well. It looks like he can fall on it. Just stop the ball and that ball in the side pocket. Came up short. Hopefully he's not jacked up again. But he knows exactly where he has to get. He knows if he's got to move forward an inch, 2 inches. You know, you'll see him very careful, because he knows how important it is to get exactly where you want on this break shot. He's going to stop. He's looking at it. You know, he says, if I stop the ball, again on a stop shot, a lot of people think your cue ball takes the place of the object ball. And actually, if you hit a perfect stop, it stops where the ball's contact. So it's one ball behind the object ball.
He has a very nice angle on the break shot here, and Takahashi cleaned off that rack, so he closed the gap. Charlie's got, I believe, 55, and Takahashi's up to 28 now, so he cut the gap considerably. Looks like he has a nice break shot. I'll bet you Takahashi's still thinking about that 3 ball that he missed in the side pocket. That cost him 50 balls.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a hothead. You know, he's a perfectionist. He doesn't like it when he misses, and you know, that's what makes you play good. And a lot of your great players, you know, they all have one thing in common: they hate to lose. And they play real hard, and you get that beating, and you come back. You know, you become a better player. Wow.
Went to the rail, and it looks like he's going to have to do something here. Long shot. This is not his strong suit.
Again, I would have popped it a little bit and gotten a little bit more through the rack. He seemed to glance off it dangerously close to the corner pocket. You would have scratched if you would have hit that center ball, but he had enough force follow on it that it got to the short rail. Very important that you have that follow on those break shots that you're hitting into the side of the rack and going forward. If you hit them a little bit closer to the center, you go right in the corner pocket.
Looks like he's going to be shooting the 8-ball.
It's a little tester here. Again, he won't hit it too hard. He'll have good speed on this shot. He might be cutting it in the side. It's hard. Oh.
Stroked it very well. Split the pocket.
He's looking over at something, Takahashi. Not sure what distracted him a little bit there. But again, you see in the cluster, there's 4 balls that are together, 5 balls. The one ball on top definitely goes in the corner and the sides. The 9 that's next to him might go somewhere. It goes in the far corner. If you were to play position for that, you have a couple safety valves with the 5 or the 6. Again, you don't want to shoot a tough shot in the corner.
He might be drawing the cue ball here into those balls, using the 5 ball as a safety valve. And he just pulled out for the 5 ball, or maybe the side pocket.
Yeah, now he's going to be looking to see which balls go in that opposite corner. Use the 5 and spin up. He's going to hit this with a little spin and spin to the center of the table. A little tricky shot. Sometimes you got to aim fuller at the ball because it essays. And when you're slow rolling it with that spin, it takes a little finesse.
Saying that on this shot where you slow spin the 5, this is where the ball squirts. Last night at one of the matches that Ray Martin was playing, he had a similar shot to this and it squirted.
Yeah, it's definitely, you have to get used to the new cloth. Traditionally we play on Simonis cloth, and Andy cloth is fine cloth, but it's going to be it's going to be different. They're different companies, and all you can ask for is a cloth plays consistent. Once something plays consistent, then you could adapt to it. Like Dallas would tell me, I'd go to a tournament, I'd hate the equipment we were playing on. He goes, what are you going to do? You're driving to California and you find equipment you don't like, you're just going to go home? You got to adapt to it. It's sort of like golf where you're playing different courses.
Any sport. Can you imagine if a baseball player said, I don't like Yankee Stadium, I'm not going to play there because the right field porch is too close or something?
I think a lot of them don't like to play there, but not necessarily.
Every sport has those variables where the players have to accommodate to the conditions. That's part of being a professional.
Yeah, even different arenas in basketball, when you have the same size football stadium, there's still going to be differences in the crowd where the players sit, how close people are to them. And you have to be able to adapt to your surroundings, even in sports that you don't have to as much.
He's eyeing up a 3-ball combination, but it seems uncharacteristic of him to play this.
Yeah, it's definitely on, but it's not dead, so you got to be real careful with shooting this. So my guess is if he's shooting it, it's probably going in.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a very careful player, and he doesn't take a lot of chances.
Now he pushed the 14 ball on the side rail, which is not what he wanted.
And again, this is a little tricky. If you draw it into the side or get a little kiss and go into the side, and you're right there on these 2 balls, you want to shoot it, and now that you're there, Again, you would like to be on a little bit inside the ball so you don't even have to go into that ball on the side rail and take a chance of drawing back and scratching. If you follow it and you don't get a shot at the ball you're running into, you got a tough shot. You're on the side, or you're on the rail on the 3 ball, or off angle on the 2, or you're shooting back down at the 1 ball. It's a little tricky, or you end up jacked up over that ball on the side rail if you follow it. Drawing it, again, you're taking a little chance of possibly scratching. So he listened to me, and he's going to go 3 rails and get on the inside of that ball. Now from there, you've taken out those variables, but he's on the rail, and he's got a little tricky shot.
Yeah.
I think either one of those balls goes, and if it does, then he's pretty good shape.
He looks like he's going to roll the 12 ball on the inside. Or is it the 10 ball?
Yeah, I believe it was 10.
He just rolled it down for the 3 ball.
Again, that's classic. He put in a position where he can knock out a break shot. He went a little too far. He doesn't want. If he rolls this ball in, he's got to play position for the lower ball. I believe it's the 4 ball. Because you don't want to, or you follow through. And one of those 2 balls, he's got to get position. The other one, he's got to make a break shot. You got to hit it soft. He did. Now, if he hits a little harder, he ties it up with the ball on the side rail. So that was
well done.
Yeah, it was a real tester there.
And here he goes shooting left-handed.
He might get a bridge for this because he's got to hit it with a little bit of speed. I'm interested to see how he plays the cue ball.
My guess is he's not going to use the bridge because he's close. Yeah.
Will he roll it and shoot the ball in the corner, or come up the center of the table, or 2 rails? He went 2 rails. Very confident with his left hand.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. If you got to jump out, get a bridge there, or, if you can shoot it with your left hand, it makes it a lot simpler. Now this is actually where he wants to be. He knows following to the short rail and coming straight at the ball, you've got a better chance to get straight in than drawing straight across. You get a little bounce off the rail, you're dead. You only draw it if you can stop it, if you got a real good angle to lay on the rail. Might be drawing it.
Like a little punch stroke here. Draw.
I can't tell.
Oh, he went to the rail. Yeah.
See how you're going straight at the ball for position, you automatically get where you want to get.
Hard to tell from the angle that we're seeing.
Yeah, it's nice when he listens to me. I hate to steer him wrong,
He's looking to position the cue ball a couple of inches from the side pocket, below the side pocket near the rail.
I had George Fells from Chicago, who should be coming on later on and do some commentary for the live streaming. And one of the qualifiers, he was doing the commentary for live streaming for my matches. And I went back and looked at him. I learned a lot from listening to George. He's a very knowledgeable guy.
Oh, yeah, George is great.
And he was able to see a few things that I was doing wrong. I won't repeat them because then everybody will know.
George is one of the most, you talk about knowledgeable people in the billiard world, and his ranking is way up there.
Yeah, he's at the top of that list, and he's one of the greatest pool writers ever. I think the greatest I've ever. I always would read his column first.
Yeah.
When I pick up the magazine, I turn to the back page and read what George Fells has to say.
He's been writing for Billiard Digest for, I guess about 25 years, maybe 30 years.
George still plays straight pool every day at Chris's Billiards. He'll sit there, he'll practice by himself. He ran 100 balls, about a month ago.
Good for him.
And it's funny, he gets frustrated when he misses a ball, and he's practicing, and he gets real mad at himself. He's such a perfectionist when it comes to playing straight pool.
I love reading his old articles talking about Bensingers.
Yeah, what a place. Yeah, it makes you feel like you're right there when you're reading them.
Yeah.
We had some real characters because the Bensingers had like 3 different stages. The one where it was on Randolph Street downtown, and you had 100 tables, 50 on billiard and 50 pool tables, and Willie Hoppe played there, and all the great players of the day were hanging out at Bensingers. And then it went to the basement in a rough neighborhood, and you had like a seedy hustler type crew that was in there that would get you as soon as you walked in the door. Like there always would be one guy sitting with his eye on the door to see what mark would be coming in that day and want to get him first. Guys named Reno, and everybody had a nickname, a Pony. And
those days that you're talking about back in the 50s and 60s, before the internet, before television, which didn't show pool at all back in those days, a player could have a moniker, a nickname, and could travel through the United States hustling because nobody knew what he looked like. And, well, he looks like this, he looks like that. But, players could change their hairstyle, change their facial hair, and they could travel for years without being known. Now today, with the internet and television, every player is seen.
I heard some of these guys even put on a skirt and went to hustle, pretend they were girls.
There was a guy,
I won't mention which players.
There was a famous hustler in New York City up at Patty's 7-Eleven, which was right above the Metropole Cafe on 57th Street. That was talk about a den of iniquity. That was a place you didn't want to go into if you didn't know what was going on. Not that it was dangerous, it's just that everybody was
out to get your
out
bankroll.
to get you. And he would come in, they called him pots and pants. He would come in wearing an outfit that
I heard of him.
Jangled, yeah. And he looked like someone that had just come from installing a kitchen in somebody's house, and he was completely covered with grime and grease. And he would just pick up a house cue and challenge anybody to play for $5 or $10 a game in 9-ball. And this guy was one notch below a world-class player. Joey Pots and Pants.
He was like a hair below Luther Lassiter or something like that, and you never heard of him. Yeah, hustlers were great, in keeping out of the media. Today, with the internet, you have no chance.
No.
They'll look up your license plate, find out who you are, and you're done.
They'll have your whole life story in 5 minutes.
I never got a nickname playing pool, but the funny thing was with a name like Karabatsas, being of Greek descent, Mizarek tried to put the Golden Greek on me as a moniker, and then I got TK, but then you had Tommy Kennedy from Florida, had that one, and they called me, the funniest one was this one guy that was working the counter at the Chicago Billiard Cafe, one of the famous pool rooms in Chicago. He would call me Garbanzo. I don't know how he got Garbanzo out of Karabatsas, but it was hilarious. And every time he'd see me, he'd yell Garbanzo, and I'd yell back Beans. It was just nobody knew why we were laughing, but it was funny. I got kielbasa. They made a Polish sausage out of me. Special K, and just one after another. Nothing ever stuck. I was making a joke with Tony Robles. I go, "Hey, Tony, did you hear Mike Siegel's got the nickname the Silent Assassin?" He goes, "Really? I never heard it." I go, "No, he's the anti-Silent Assassin. He's the mouth." Started laughing. with my monotone voice, a lot of people don't know when I'm joking, so it gets a little more mileage.
Got that Midwest dry sense of humor.
Unfortunately, I picked up a lot of it from Dallas West. He had that dry sense of humor. It'd be like some of the stories were just funny.
What was his nickname?
Wow. Rockford Rocket was probably the closest. He never really had.
Yeah, he never had a.
He never had a
name
nickname.
like Dallas West, you don't need a nickname.
Right.
That's enough of a nickname already.
Well, Dallas sticks out. You just know when you say the name Dallas and pool, you pretty much know it's Dallas West. There's no other Dallases.
For the young pool fans that might not know who Dallas West was, look him up. One of the greatest straight pool players from last century.
Funny thing about Dallas, he was a real good three-cushion billiard player.
Yes.
He actually won some tournaments. And at Chris's Billiards, we had the best billiard players in the world come in for a tournament. Blomdahl, a many-time world champion from Sweden, he was there in a tournament. They were playing 60-point matches.
Wow.
If you know anything about billiards, that is not a short match, and the best player is supposed to win. And Dallas beat Blomdahl in a 60-point match, and that was very impressive, to say the least. He told me his high run is 25, playing three cushion. And these champions don't have to exaggerate. It's kind of funny that usually did happen. Like, I was talking with Efren Reyes one time, and he played a lot of rotation pool, 1 through 15. And because he gives guys big handicaps, a lot of times he has to run the whole rack, or he would get paid extra if he ran the whole rack. And he told me he broke and ran 10 racks of rotation.
150 balls.
In rotation. 1 through 15. But, you got to shoot them in an ascending order and, get through 15 balls. It's just amazing the kind of position that you have to play at the beginning of the rack to get through all the traffic.
Yep.
What a wonderful player, Efren Reyes. And a lot of fun to be around. Takahashi made another nice shot.
Yeah. Well, he's got nice position here where he can go 2 rails on the floor and put a little bit of left-hand English there and straighten out the cue ball. Let's see how he does it. He wants to come in the middle of the table where he has a nice angle on the break shot.
Yeah, you got to go 2 rails, and you need a little bit of that side left English in order to get your desired angle.
He'll give it a nice spin. Very nice.
Look at the speed.
Yep. Very well done.
When you have that kind of position, you don't want to get too big an angle on it. You take a little bit the worst of it. Get a little straighter, because if you go too far, if you're trying to get that big angle, you'll end up with no shot.
Also, it's important that he can now get on the right side of the table as we're watching the monitor. He can position his body on the right side of the monitor and have a nice body position for the break shot. If he were to straighten out the cue ball, he'd be shooting from the end rail.
Yeah, he's stretching a little bit for this shot because it's past the side pocket. And you're playing position and you can't get to the side of the table where you can cut it backwards and shoot it righty.
See,
it's on the opposite side.
He's just able to get on the right side of the table.
You're right. His body's
beautiful
right
position.
there.
Beautiful position. And as a result of having that good position, he was able to give a full stroke.
He went after the ball, drew off the side of the rack. He wanted to draw it to the center of the table. Sometimes the ball cuts back to the side rail.
We have a tie score now, 56-56. He was losing the game 55-14. So he's made a good comeback on this. And he has a little tester here in the corner pocket.
Here, I don't like to hold this up. I like to go all the way to the side rail, come off for position in the 5. He might be, I'm not sure how he's hitting this ball. He's also got the 8 near the pocket, so he was able
He's
to
going
follow.
3 rails and trying to come out here. Looks like he's got the 5 ball, or the 8 ball, or the 2 ball.
If he can see the 2 ball, you would rather get a position on the 2 ball, because you don't want the 5 to be pushing the 2 into the rack. It's one more thing you have to think about when you're breaking the balls. So you always shoot the ball inside, the 2 balls that are that are considered break shots.
I think he wants to cinch the 5 ball.
And he's going to shoot and get a better angle. He's
Yeah.
too straight on the 2 ball.
He cinched it, and he's got the 11 ball in the side pocket to get nice position on another break shot.
Very smart. He's going to fall exactly where he wants to in the break shot. He's got 1 on either side, by the way. The 4 ball sticking out a little bit. That's what he played for.
He's playing the 4 ball.
Get the 8 as protection this
He's
way.
going to make contact with the 9 ball. What is he going to do with the cue ball after he contacts the 9 ball?
He's going to draw
forward?
back to the center of the table. He'll have a shot at the 2 or the 6, maybe to push the 7 out there. But the 8 ball is his protection. You don't want to go forward here because you might scratch.
He'll hold the cue ball. And that's exactly what he did. He held the cue ball, and the 8 ball is a safety valve.
Yeah, the 8 was the minimum he would have there. Now I think he might shoot this 8 and foul and go into those 2 balls on the side rail. Or he's thinking of going into the 7. Again, there's only 3 balls there. I think you can get to him pretty easily. He's going to go for him now. This guy, you can sit back and you can learn something watching him play every time he plays.
But again, he's got the 15 and
He went very softly, created a break shot. He would have liked to have the shot to 3. I'll be surprised if he doesn't look this 1 in the side over a little bit before he ends up finally shooting. Because the 1 really does you no good where it's at. If you can take it away, it'll help you out. And again, he's not within earshot, so he's not listening to me coach him over here. Sometimes, guys get ahead of themselves and they don't look at every situation. He opted not to shoot it, but at least he looked at
Look at his
it.
body position here where he's completely jacked up. Classic.
And he put his leg on the table so he can get closer to the ball.
Beautiful.
You got to be a little flexible to do that.
And look at that. He kicked that 1 ball out.
So he took care of that problem in a different way.
That was some masterful shot.
Yeah.
What a touch. Very difficult shot. Made it look easy.
He's going to get on those balls on the side rail. If he can, he might shoot this ball in the corner right now.
Yeah, I think he should take away, going to get rid of probably the 2 or the 9. I don't know which one. Let's see which one it's going to be. Probably the 2 ball. Just kill the cue ball right there.
Again, he's picking the balls off very nicely. This is the time in the rack when you have to get exactly where you want to get on these balls. So he's going to look at the side pocket and see if he's got to draw back 2 inches, 3 inches. And he wants to cut the ball a little bit and draw back so he can get off the rail. And then he'll be able to follow up to get exactly where he wants to get on the 1 ball to come back.
Perfect. Oh, he doesn't like it. Or he's just stretching, I can't tell. Oh, he wanted to get on the 7.
Yeah, the 7's in the rack. I didn't notice that. I thought the 7 was going to be the break shot. Now it's a 3 rail position. If he gets straight in on the 9, then he can stop and drop over in the 1 ball. He missed it. He tried to hold it up with inside English.
No, he didn't listen to you. I was
Yeah.
surprised at that. I thought he was going to let the cue ball go. He tried to hold it up.
And these little finesse
Yeah,
shots with
that was,
inside English when you're rolling them after you got a little out of line.
He's very unhappy with that. He was on a roll. He had put together a nice run, and that just getting out of line, just a couple of inches there, threw him off.
Yeah. If Charlie lets him back to the table quickly in this situation, he'll probably run out on Charlie. When a good player gets off a 50 or 60 ball run, you don't want to let him right back to the table. You have to be able to stop him, slow him down, make him sit in the chair a little bit, think about it. If you get up there and you miss, you're probably not going to look at the table again. So Charlie needs to be careful and put together a couple racks at least here.
Did you think that Takahashi rushed that shot a little bit? He wasn't very deliberate on that shot.
Yeah, he was a lot more careful on every other shot.
Yeah.
And he got a little funny, and he was frustrated with himself, and he rushed that a little more than he should have. He'd definitely like to have that shot back. See if he draws to the side rail or just tries to hold it. I like drawing to the side rail and coming off. You get a little closer to the ball. Now let's see the speed which Charlie shoots this ball. Again, Takahashi hit it a little easy and ended up Massane hitting the ball a little full. You need right-hand English to come up two rails.
This is not an easy shot because he doesn't.
It's a little straight.
He's going to be long. He's going to be long on this. I don't know if he can come around the 9 without hitting it.
Yeah, he's going to come inside two rails, but
It's not an easy shot.
it's not a hanger.
He did it very well.
Yeah, he got a little straighter than he would have liked to, but you definitely don't want to come up short on that shot. So I agree with Charlie. Make sure you get on top of the ball.
Takahashi just shook his head. He wasn't very happy with that 7. Now, as a player, Tom, when you miss a shot like that, when you're on a run and you've got the balls wide open, the momentum is with you, you feel you've come back, you've really made a nice comeback, and you're ready to run out of the match, and then you do something like that, which stops you dead in your tracks. How do you get yourself back on track?
One of the hardest things to do in pool is forget about it. You can't do nothing about it. People miss balls, situations like that, and you just got to have the right attitude to get back up to the table and with a clear head and play the game right like nothing ever happened. You can think about it after the match, think about fixing that situation, but during the match you'll probably get another opportunity, and you don't want to take yourself out of the next one. I've seen players where they miss like 3 or 4 shots in a row playing straight pool after they do something like that.
But Takahashi's body language, as you look at him, he is dejected. He just let his opponent back into the match. He had him, and he let him back in.
Yeah, it doesn't have a good poker face there. You can read him pretty. Charlie, he can spin the 6 in maybe. Thank you. Yep, he's calling the 6, and with this cloth you could actually aim a little fuller and throw the ball in if you have the right speed on the shot.
He's using an extension, which is permitted in this tournament. The players have the option of using an extension on their cue stick so they don't have to use the bridge. Charlie's got about a 12-inch extension on the end of his cue stick, or maybe even longer than that. He's adjusting it now.
I'm surprised it's allowed because the jump cues definitely aren't allowed.
Yeah.
I don't think extensions should be allowed.
That's about 1.5 feet.
It allows the player to take a better stroke at it than, using the bridge. It takes the bridge out of the game. I don't like to do that. And I don't like the jump cue because it takes out finesse shots out of the game also.
Now, in this tournament, of course, jumping is really not going to be a factor because in straight pool, you'll hardly ever see a jump shot. But it did come up once yesterday. What's the ruling on that? Did they have a discussion at the players' meeting with respect to using a jump cue?
Yeah, you have to use the cue that you're playing with. You can't take out another cue whether it's your brake cue or anything like that, even if it's a regular length cue.
Unless there's damage to your cue stick, and then you could replace it. Yeah.
Correct. And I think that's the way it should be. I'd hate to see guys jumping when they get hooked playing straight pull.
Yesterday, Ray Martin locked two bridges together to create a very high bridge, and that is permitted. Mike Siegel did it as well, yeah.
Yeah, you know, they have that Rousseau interlocking bridge.
The interlocking bridge.
He was from this area also, and I tell you that was still the only bridge that I see that you can lock two of them together and get a solid, hit on the object ball.
I saw one of the players yesterday using the bridge, and he placed the butt part of the bridge on his left shoulder, and then used his left hand to press down on the bridge and make it firm on the table as he stroked the ball with his right hand. Very unusual style.
Yeah, there's certain hustler games, believe it or not, where they say, I'll shoot every shot with a bridge, and they try to make the bridge a part of their arm.
Yep.
And I think that's where he saw that, or he's played that style before. But the classic snooker style is still the best. If you watch the snooker players, which side of the bridge they use so they can sight the ball the best, how they use the bridge, they're all very versatile with the bridge. You have to be on a 12-foot table.
Now Charlie's come out for a little break shot here. He's going to be playing the, looks like the
again,
10 ball.
this angle's going straight to the corner pocket. If he doesn't go through the rack, he's going to start kissing off these balls toward the side pocket or all the way in the far corner. And he's going to go after him. Might scratch.
Ooh, he straightened it out.
The force foul kicked in,
Yeah.
and he got to the short rail. Sort of like a lot of the break shots that you play. When you're hitting the side of the rack, you have that force foul, and that's what gets you down to the bottom rail. If you don't hit that force foul, you go straight to the corner. So if you're practicing straight pull at home, make sure you get that level stroke with a high ball when you're shooting those break shots. And Charlie is on the rail, though. This is a tester right here. Nice shot.
Very well done. Well, the match is now tied up, I believe. '67-67. Charlie's got an open rack here.
Shooting in the
A
side.
little tricky position here.
He's just got two balls that are touching. He's probably looking at half a pocket on that ball. He's going to be extra careful. Whenever you're shooting half a pocket, forget that object ball is there and just really aim for that half of the pocket that you need to shoot it into. Otherwise, you tend to shoot in the center of the pocket, and then you'll contact the 5. So you need to get that object, that obstructing ball out of your head, and just start shooting balls in a particular side of the pocket, like you're cheating the pocket for position.
He's not liking his shot.
He's got half a pocket. He's got to follow into that ball, create a break shot. It's a little tricky.
Yep.
Again, some real testers that he's making. And Charlie's a seasoned tournament player now. Any kind of tournament play is good. I've seen some very good straight pool players, like Al Waldo. He knows how to play straight pool. I watch his patterns and that, and Yeah, I'm sure he's not playing a lot of tournaments with high caliber competition. That a lot of times you make up for a lot just because you're tournament tough. You're playing against good players all the time, and you know how to make those shots off the rail. You've had these situations coming up. If you don't play a lot of tournaments, I find myself I'm always struggling because I play one major tournament a year, and it's usually straight pool that I like to play. It's hard to get into the flow.
A lot of pressure when you're under the lights.
Yeah, you're out there by yourself. You can't tag somebody to come in and have Nick Verner shoot the shot for you or something like that. I was always into individual sports. I was a wrestler in high school, collegiate wrestler, and a scholarship. And same thing there. You're out there by yourself. There's a team involved. You count points at the end of the day sometimes. But pool's very individual. I really do like the team events that they have in pool, like the Moscone Cup. You get to cheer. And I think that's a big part. I always like playing the BCA tournaments. Of course, they wouldn't let me play. As a master, they let me play because I quit playing the tour, and they would let me compete like that. But the team events were always the most fun.
Charlie's come up here short. Didn't come down quite enough to get rid of that 10 ball, so he's got to do some trick shots here now. A little stretching, left-handed.
Yeah, he really hasn't figured out his break shot. I know he wants to leave the 9, but it all depends where you get this angle. He's going to hit it with inside English and come close to that side pocket, one rail. But he's really doesn't have a lot of choices here.
Shooting left-handed certainly cuts down your options. Now, of course, he's quite straight on the...
Yeah, he's near the side pocket on the rail, just like I predicted. He's got to come to the center of the table here and only have an angle where he could at least possibly do some damage with the break shot. Again, he's doing this strictly on his shot-making ability and being able to go ball to ball to be able to make a hard shot and get position. He's just not getting that good angle, but he's keeping his run going just on shot-making ability.
He's got to really power this stroke.
It sounded like a miscue.
I don't know. It didn't come off the way with as much power as I thought.
Yeah, that might have been a different table. It seems like I heard a miscue somewhere.
Takahashi is not happy. Look at him.
He looks like the Maytag repairman. You got to be an old guy to remember those old commercials where
He's still thinking about that ball he missed in the side pocket and the 7 ball.
I think he's still thinking about that side pocket break shot he got straight in on. Takahashi is like a encyclopedia. I guarantee he remembers every mistake, every wrong move. It's good when you're learning, but when you're playing in the tournament, you don't want to remember those mistakes. You want to get them out of your head. He's force following or drawing off the top of the rack. Again, just a great shot from Charlie.
Very, very powerful stroke.
He had to hit that 100 miles an hour to get that reaction. And at that distance, it's an excellent shot. Like I said, you keep making balls, eventually you get to 100.
You know what, surprisingly enough, who hits that shot very well? Alan Hopkins. That shot he's very good at coming off the rail on those shots where the object ball is several inches off the rail. he pockets it with authority. And you look at his stroke and you say, how could he get that much power out of that stroke? And as you pointed out, Tom, it's not the stroke, it's the actual point of contact when the cue stick hits the cue ball. It's not all that stuff beforehand.
Allen strikes the ball well on the final stroke. I mean, he goes through the ball well. It looks kind of brutal because he's short backswings, opposite of a lot of players where they take those same short warm-up strokes, but then they'll come back on a normal length of follow through. Allen comes back 2 inches and gets all the power. And, it's unbelievable that he can do that. I was told which players to watch. Mizrak, Ray Martin. He said, whatever you do, don't watch Hopkins. He goes, no, you can watch how he plays the game because he's a master of straight pull, picking off the balls and shot selection and position play. He goes, but you don't want to watch that stroke. It's like, forget about that.
Speaking about strokes that were not classic, are you old enough to remember
Cicero
Murphy? Right.
That's first name that came to mind.
Oh, my goodness.
I could not believe that he would take that kind of wind-up. It's sort of reminiscent of Ephraim Reyes a little bit with the loop and stroke when he first came out. But he had a hesitation to it where he would loop back and then hesitate and then come through. And just
We call that the slip stroke.
It was just amazing that he could make a ball like that. And someone told me he was having trouble playing pool, and he switched hands. He started playing with his left hand, and he had the same stroke lefty. What are the odds of that?
Another guy who had a nice, smooth slip stroke, similar to Cicero, but not with the hesitation, was Eddie Taylor, the Knoxville Bear, probably one of the greatest bank pool players of all time. He had that little hesitation too, but not quite as much as Cicero.
Yeah, I liked talking with Cicero Murphy, one of my good friends. He's a former boxer, pro boxer, and Cicero Murphy apparently was a pro boxer also. And we used to talk about boxing, and he always had a tip on who's going to win, the big fight. He was a very knowledgeable boxing fan. Yeah, Charlie's a little bit straight on the one ball. He had to cheat the pocket and follow up 2 rails. Again, he worked his way through this rack very nice. Shoot this ball in the corner, get on the 5 ball, or get on the ball next to the one he's shooting. Shoot that one in the corner and get on the 5. But you don't want to leave that 5. If you can draw back to the side rail, you can get closer to that ball at the far end of the table rather than stopping there and taking a long shot. You draw back. Yeah, there was an extra ball in there that I didn't see. Okay. He's a little close to his work here. The 7 balls in the rack. Again, it's not sticking. It's hard to depth perception to tell where that break ball is. He wants to shoot the 7 stop, shoot the 5 in the side pocket, and use that long distance ball to get on his ball. He would rather not do that. He would rather have an angle on the 7 to get on the far ball and use the 5 to get on the break shot. But at this point, you have to cinch, getting on the break shot. A little tricky poke stroke if you're shooting up close to the ball. You don't want to follow through and push the ball. So a lot of times you see players miss shots like that. This time he came back to the side rail and spun out, but he still looks like the 5 ball's out of the rack. close to the rack, but out of the rack, so he'll be able to get there. Again, not real careful. He got straight in on this ball. He might get a little bit too straight on the 5. I would rather have a little angle, so I could have went to the rail and decided how hard I wanted to hit it to get my angle on the 5. Now he can only go forward or drop back to create an angle. It might be a little bit straighter than he wanted to be because he got straight in on that last object ball.
Well, it looks like Charlie's within striking distance now. It appears that he will not need another break shot. He only needs 13 balls. So if he can get through this rack, he'll have the match sewn up.
Again, you want to bounce off the top of the rack and make sure you hit the ball closest to the 5 to get some kind of opening. If you hit that side rack, sometimes they don't open up real good. He's got to make another hard shot, but it looks like 4-rail position on the ball that's on the opposite rail, and then you'll be able to get on the 7 ball. Or possibly there's a side pocket break shot sticking out there also. Again, not an easy shot.
No. And he's going to be stretching quite a bit on this. He's going to have to really...
He's going to snap at 2 rails instead of 4, it looks like.
Yeah, really snap it. All right, he's come up from the 11 ball.
See if he tries to hold it up and break off the ball in the side pocket. It's hard to tell.
That's exactly what he did very nicely. Killed the cue ball. He has, looks like he's got the 10 ball in the side, or
I might have moved a little bit too far forward, but if you can shoot the ball on the side, knock out 1 ball for the break shot.
that's interesting. He just put a couple of balls in the pocket, and he's going to pocket the 7 ball. Did you notice that? He pulled the balls out and threw them in that pocket.
He's going to hit it hard, and he wants something there to stop the ball from bouncing back out of the pocket.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he's a veteran. It's happened to him before. At the speed he hits balls, he's got to be careful.
You know, I've never seen a player do that, actually put balls in the pocket to make sure that his object ball doesn't bounce out of that pocket. The bottom of these pockets are plastic. They're some sort of a composite. So it does make a distinctive sound when the ball hits the bottom of the pocket.
And Charlie, being the promoter, he knows these things. It's a little advantage. The big disadvantage is trying to run the tournament and play. I can't understand how he does it, to be honest with you. The famous Cindy Lee was brought to my attention. She helps him.
Oh, yeah.
That's somebody that you really would like to have in your corner. She's beautiful. She takes care of everything. Very knowledgeable, very personable. Got your back.
Oh, that one wobbled and fell.
Cheap thrill.
Cheap
You
thrill.
see what he did there? He just put another ball in the pocket because he's planning on powering the 8 ball in. That's interesting. He's putting a ball down there as to act as a buffer.
Apparently he doesn't like that ball in the side pocket. He's just going to fly into this rack. If he hits a ball full, he's going to stick or go through.
He's got that force follow there again, off the rail. Ooh,
Hit the
came off
top
high,
ball.
but he'll be all right.
That was fortunate a little bit. He's got a lot of shots. That's why Charlie is so dangerous. Yeah, he plays aggressive. He's a ball runner. Because he plays aggressive, if he gets one roll like that, it could be the only one he needs to run 50. gets 2 rolls, you could really be in trouble.
Well, he needs all the balls on the table except one, I think. He needs 13 for the beginning of the round, except for 2.
Here's another little
12
draw
ball.
shot, it looks like.
He's going to go into the pack again.
Oh,
Got the 6 ball.
I'm surprised he did that.
He's checking his score now to see how many balls he needs. 2, 4, 6. He needs 6.
He's thinking of going up the table here for that ball because he's got an angle in the 6. So he might go get that ball down there, but then he realizes he doesn't need that ball. So, I wouldn't go out of my way to get on that ball because you don't need it. You want to make sure you get on these balls that are tied up.
Well, as you pointed out, he should get rid of all the balls down there. Leave nothing to chance.
At this point, I start shooting off break shots in case I miss. You don't want to leave it for the other guy.
Takahashi is probably replaying that little jacked up Massey shot that he missed about 6 times in his head right now.
Yeah, he made a nice comeback. Like I said, Charlie couldn't let him back to the table quick, and he didn't. He took control. And he's going to run the match out, looks like.
Well, here he's got natural position. Doesn't have to do very much.
Yeah, he's just going to draw across the
Slide
table.
the cue ball across the table.
These type of situations, you want to make sure you don't overamp and over dig into the ball and draw into the side pocket or do something like that. He's actually thinking of going into these balls.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
It's not, certainly it's not necessary.
Just slide across. You just got to get on the 1 ball.
Now he's looking at it. Give it another quick view.
Like I said, you slide across, you hit the edge of that ball, go into that side, or you overamp and draw too much and go in the side. He's looking at the follow on the 1 ball now, which is much smarter.
Oh, look at this. I'm so surprised he went into those balls. Why?
He did exactly what we told him not to.
We told him, I can't understand why he did that. There was no reason to go into those balls.
Yeah, he's got to make a shot in the corner pocket. It's not too bad a shot. He didn't end up froze on the rail. It could have been a nightmare. And he is a little bit off the rail and fairly straight angle with natural position. He's looking at another shot. He likes the other shot because you got the rail. The ball that he's shooting, you can hit it into the rail a little bit and still get it. Oh! He went for the side pocket.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He just let Takahashi back in. He had it. That was really... Tom, I don't understand what he was thinking about. Why did he go into that heap? Those balls were spread enough to pick off the 1 ball.
Yeah, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that. He got punished this time. He wasn't able to correct himself with another tough shot. He's been making a lot of tough shots in this run, and getting by.
He's got 96. He only needed 4 balls. And, kind of surprising to me that he did that.
The ball he was shooting at would have made it 3. The 1 ball would have made it 2.
Two.
I'm sure he could have found 2 balls somewhere there.
Sure. Well, now we'll see if Takahashi can overcome his mental state.
And he's got to start all over now because he's been in the chair a little bit. Charlie did his job in that respect, that he did keep him from jumping up after a good run that he had.
I think that Takahashi is surprised. He never expected to be at the table.
Yeah, you have to be prepared. You know, a lot of times players will miss and we jump up there and we mess up right away because you're not prepared for the shot. You have to keep your mind in the game and realize that you know, it's never over till it's over.
Somebody said that.
I forget.
I forget. Takahashi's got a little bit of situation here. He's trying to figure out what to do with the those two balls there. That looks like the 12 and the, what is that, the one
The
ball
one,
and the 9 ball?
yeah, I think he can shoot it in the corner with a little English maybe, you know, so he doesn't want to run into him.
Now you can see it's a 9 ball.
Yeah, he came up short. He would have liked to get on that ball in the corner. From this angle, it's a little hard to see how big his angle is.
You can't really tell if the,
But
the
he's
9 ball goes.
yeah,
He's got room there.
he's able to roll this ball in with a little inside English. Another shot you'd rather not shoot.
Again,
You know,
he's
but
stretching.
he's forced to roll this in with a
Big
little inside.
stretch here.
Last one he hit too full. He missed one of these earlier that he had to roll in with inside English.
And he remembered it, and he
Didn't repeat.
allowed for it. Yep, he did not repeat his mistake.
So maybe the fact that he gets frustrated when he makes mistakes actually works. You know, he remembered his mistake and did not repeat it.
Well, you mentioned before that he is a master, and he probably remembers every match that he played. He's got a little finesse shot here on the 9 ball.
Yeah, this is the shot. If he gets by this, he'll be in good shape. Got a little too much angle, but he could go to side rail or try to hold this up. Again, this is a matter of preference. You know, he's got such a nice touch. He might try to spin this in and hold it up.
Remember, before he tried to spin one in and it missed, so let's see if he can do it this time.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
perfect.
Very nice. Very nice.
Perfect touch.
Yeah. And he's going to clip the bottom of the pack here when he makes this break shot.
And
Charlie is...
Sometimes you cinch balls like a 9-ball player would have cinched that ball and hit it harder when it crossed the side rail
Bounced
to
off.
come to that spot because they feel more comfortable. And you got to be able to see which category you fall in, and you got to learn both aspects of the shot, be able to hold it up or take it to the rail. This way you can differentiate that 1 inch lay, that 1 turn of the cue ball difference, and make up your mind if you want to bounce it across the table or just hold it up. Again, he's hitting the bottom of the rack. You can follow through, knock out a couple balls, or you can draw to the center of the table and hit it a little harder. He followed through, and I didn't like that. If he was going to play like that, I would have rather see him hit it easy and do the Irving Crane break shot where you knock out a couple balls and work from there. Irving Crane was the master of just sliding off the side of the rack, knocking off the 2 corner balls, and having a shot at one of them and playing position on the other to break the rack.
He had a good body position there for the break shot, but for some reason the cue ball just did not perform.
He has a shot, and he wants to. He's looking at a half a pocket maybe on this ball. So if he can shoot it in and get an angle on the far ball, he might be able to come back and break off the 14 or the ball in the side pocket.
Yeah, the 5 ball.
He's spinning, trying to get on the 14 right.
He came out beautifully, beautifully.
That was a day shot.
That was excellent.
Very
Nice
good shot,
touch.
because I know he only had half a pocket
Perfect
there.
speed. That was a superb shot. Perfect speed.
Well, he's going to follow and play position on the side pocket shot so you can open up the rack. You might be able to shoot the ball on the side and draw back for position on the 14 to get an angle to break the rack. So he's got a couple options. He's got to decide: draw, follow. Hopefully he doesn't come up short if he follows the ball. He might be thinking about that if we know Mr. Takahashi.
Let's see if he's going to pull into the 7 ball
No,
after he makes the 5, I think.
No, he's drawing straight back.
No,
for
he
the four.
pulled it. Yeah, he broke him up a little bit. Pulled into the
Huh.
7. Just ticked the 7, I think.
Notice how immediately he looks at the rack for a dead ball. You know, a lot of times there are combinations that are wired, and you got to look for them right away. Save you a lot of headache. Might have to shoot the far shot, play position in the 6, or might go in the corner right now. He's looking at the combo again. It's not quite dead. I don't know if it's on. He might be able to manipulate the ball, but he might have to have a different angle to manipulate it to go. If he shoots that ball in the corner, that's going to be a real tester here. Again, do you hold it up for the 6 or do you let it go? It looks like it's right in between where the angle's a little too straight, you know, to hold it, to bounce across 2 rails, and it's a little too much to hold it. He really wants to shoot that combination. It probably goes if he's on the other side. He might be just playing for the combination here rather than the 6 ball. So in which case he'll cinch the 10 and come to the other side of the table.
Nice. Tough shot under pressure.
Very good shot. That's a tough shot to come across like that and back to the center of the table.
He didn't baby it either. He stroked it. Well, here comes
Unfortunately
another
here, even if you draw it, you're hitting the 8 on the lower part of the 8, and you might be going straight for that corner. If you follow it, you're hitting that other object ball that's below the 6, and you might scratch. It's a tough shot.
He's pointing right to the corner pocket, just as you said. Just as you said that. He's looking at the contact point from the 6 to the 8 to the corner.
I still think you got to draw this. You could probably, with a forced draw, a lot of people don't know the cue ball will go forward before it comes back. So you'll hit the lower part of the 8. You know, probably be okay here. You'll hit a little lower than you expect. Again, with a forced foul, you'll end up coming back before it goes forward and hit the 8 a little higher. A guy like Alan Hopkins knows all these little immediate angles off the ball, hitting it different ways.
Oh, badly missed. Did you see where he jumped up on that shot?
All that, and then he poked the shot. You know, he took.
Jumped up on that shot. No, that's it for Mr. K.
Again, it was just a
Takahashi.
matter of, you know, he took his attention off the shot and I think he was watching the cue ball a little bit to see what kind of reaction he would get. Very important when you're going into balls that you forget about it. You know, watching the cue ball, it's a death sentence.
Well, that was his probably his swan song on this match, because I think Charlie's going to put him to sleep now with 4 balls. That's all he needs. Mr. Takahashi had the chance. He jumped up on that shot, which the 6 ball just didn't even come close to the pocket. And it's unfortunate because he looked like he was going to get out. I thought he might get out.
Yeah, he was working really hard, doing what you have to do to win, and just got a little ahead of himself.
He definitely jumped up on that shot.
Nerves are a big part of this, and these preliminary matches, they're important for positioning. Both these players are going to make the final knockouts with the 32 single elimination board. They're both guaranteed to get into the final 32, but it makes a difference who wins the bracket, because you'll play the number 4 seed if you're the number 1 seed, and you don't want to be playing the number 2 seed like Oliver Ortman or Mike Siegel you'd rather get somebody down the line.
Ooh,
Look what he's doing
What
here.
is
He almost
this?
scratched.
oh my goodness.
It left him so long. He's better hope this combo's dead. Looks like a 3-ball combo's got a chance, or he's got to hit the corner ball.
Was he playing for two now?
So, he shot two
He's
balls.
playing for two.
Yep. So again, he could shoot the corner ball and leave himself in the same position.
I certainly didn't think Charlie was going to put himself in this position. He's going to call the 8-ball.
And he's just going straight for a cut shot off the rail. Again, not being very careful, but he's got his rhythm and he shoots balls in the hole, and that's very important, A nice shot. We'll see how he came.
Oh, he only needed one. Okay, that was it.
Two balls coming straight at the side again.
Boy, oh boy.
Great
That was
match.
a heck of a match. Very, very good match. It could have gone either way.
Yeah, definitely.
They
Both players had good
chances.
runs.
Yeah,
And
they both had chances. But it was interesting that once Charlie put Mr. Takahashi in the seat, when he came out, he was not comfortable.
yeah. Yeah, well, he was thinking about those shots that he messed up earlier, and that could have hindered
You could
his
tell by his
performance
body
a little bit.
language he wasn't comfortable.
Very good point. Okay, I hope everybody enjoyed the pool match. We'll get this World Straight Pool Championship and come down to the finals and see who the best player in the world is within the next few days.
Now that gives Charlie Williams, I think he's only lost one match, if I'm not mistaken, at this point.
That will give him the #1 seed because everybody else has 2 losses, and he's got one tough player from Germany left to play.
Who might that be?
Hoyce.
Ah, yes, that young man.
Young.
Hoyce, yeah. He's put together some
Talk
nice
about
matches.
aggressive players. He will fire at his hole. Okay, once again, it was a pleasure working with you, Carl.
Yeah, same here, Tom. I enjoyed it.
Good luck.
We'll get to see some more matches later this afternoon.
We'll see you at the banquet.
Okay.
Say it over here. If you come short, you got the 7. You go long, you got the 6.
Yeah, I was tunnel vision. I was just like, it was so easy. I should earlier. I should the third shot. I should just play position for here.
No kidding.
I was dumb for shooting for here.
That was a kind of a tough shot for the last ball.
Yeah, I know.